Hello and welcome to our first thoughts video on the game Gun Gun Gun. This game is a kind of arcade style shooter in which you have to survive as long as you can by killing as many enemies as possible. You start off with a little prologue which helps you to get used to the controls, although they are very simple and there are only really two buttons, and that's to fire or to jump. It's really nothing beyond that. So as you can see in this next section, we'll be launched into a level. There are only, I think, 5 or 6 varieties of level to choose from. As you can see, you aim with the analog stick and then just hold down the fire button. The enemies drop various different weapons. Some of the weapons are much better than others, and as you go through the game you'll learn which of the weapons you like and which of the weapons you don't like. As you can see at the top of the screen, you have your weapon in the far left. You can actually pick up 2 weapons, so you can interchange between the two. Next to the weapons there is the health icons, so you've got 5 deaths before you are absolutely dead. So make sure you're aware of how close you are to death at any one point. And then as you go through, you will have a combination or a counter that says 0 currently, that shows you your combo that you're currently on. So as you kill more enemies, that combo gets bigger. The maximum combo is 30, so once you're at 30 it just stays at 30 forever, but obviously until you get hit and then it gets knocked back down again. So overall the game is very simple to pick up and play. I started off just in this kind of tutorial doing having quite a lot of fun actually. It's quite nice to have enemies just come towards you and just be shooting. It's a little bit of fun. But as you start to go on, you'll kind of realise that the game doesn't really have much beyond that. So in the kind of third objective of the prologue, here you've got to actually get a kill combo of 20. Again, as you pick up the guns, there are probably about 10 guns to pick from. You'll start to really play more regularly with the ones that you want to play with. When you look at the trophies for this game, there are 50 trophies, and you can get this for both PS4 and PS5 platforms, so there are actually 100 trophies in total. This game is actually quite rare. There are not very many players that have played this. I can kind of understand a little bit why it isn't the easiest game to platinum, as there will be a lot of grinding and the gameplay is very, very similar. This is kind of my first takeaway from this game, that although the combat is quite fun and does have a shelf life for how long you can actually play the game before it starts to get a little bit repetitive. It would have been nice to add a few more features, but obviously they didn't manage to in this particular game. On some levels, enemies will drop from the sky and you'll get some enemies that are heavy, so you'll probably see in a minute the guys that are big and lumbering. These take a number of bullets to put down, and certain guns will be no use against them at all. So that's why I kind of suggest that you get used to the guns that you really like. So here you can see a heavy has just landed behind me, and like I said, these will take a lot of bullets to take down. It's best to blow up those guys with the dynamite. That's probably the easiest way to ensure that these heavies actually die. The other bit to look for in this game is to ensure you are collecting as many coins as possible. Again, there's another trophy for getting a million bounty, and these coins will work towards it. That trophy will be a massive grind, and unfortunately the game is quite glitchy. So you'll notice if you watch any of my other videos that when I'm unlocking certain trophies, they don't actually come during the gameplay, and you actually have to reload or restart the game in order for the trophies to unlock. So I ended up essentially starting a new game, signing out of the game and signing back in, and at the start a lot of the trophies kind of popped by doing that. So I would advise that you also do that, because the game counter isn't great. So I noticed that sometimes when I'd get to a certain point, it would just stop counting my kills. And because one of the trophies is to get a 1,000,000 bounty, obviously you need this counter to be counting up all the time. You don't really want to lose your progress, because when you reload, it would lose your progress. So my advice would be to play just one round at a time, then quit out to the menu and then come back in, because it isn't reliable on actually counting the amount of kills that you've done or whatever goal you're working towards. It's also bad with the hats. So there's a function in this game where you can buy some hats. The hats do literally nothing. They're just a dress, just a piece of dress. They don't give you powers. They don't really do anything, which is a shame. It would have been nice, and the game would have been a bit more varied if those hats would have unlocked some different ways of playing, or I don't know. But that would have been kind of a better idea for this game. It kind of feels like the idea of the game is a good one, but they haven't quite fleshed it out before they've actually committed to doing putting the game into press. So here you can see where you've got all your hats. There is a trophy for collecting all of them. They have various different costs, so as you go through the game, just unlock it. This doesn't inhibit your progress towards the 1,000,000 bounty. You don't need to have it all in your wallet all at once. You do just have to gain it over time. So I kept checking the stats screen to see where I was and how many games I would need to do it. Obviously, as you go through the game, you will get better at it, so you'll get higher amounts of combos, and your sessions will last longer. So here, for example, my longest session at this point was 103 seconds. There is a trophy for 5 minutes in a single occasion without dying, so that'll be 300 seconds. I have managed to get that, so that's it's quite a long game. I'll be honest. After 5 minutes, you are feeling it. There are certain levels as well, like this one, where it is actually really easy just to hug one of the walls. So I think there was a combination of 3 levels that I kept reloading and just kept reloading the level to see if I got the right levels. Obviously the levels are thrown at you at random, so sometimes you can get the levels that you want and sometimes you get the levels that you don't particularly want. So I just kept reloading until I got the levels that I knew I could kind of farm almost. So the ones where you are able to be up against a wall at either side of the level are the best, because it generally means that you're only firing in one direction and that you get all of the pickups right in front of you. Also, another tip would be that make sure you are shooting the bullets that come towards you, so you can actually take out other people's bullets by shooting them. So I would advise doing that. That should help, and picking up as many of the health packs as you can, because no matter what, you will lose health. It can be a bit difficult when you get towards like the later durations. They will just send loads and loads of people at you. So my 3 guns that I was kind of the most used to are the MP5, the Kalashnikov, and the Martini Henry, which is a heavy one-shot gun, which doesn't seem like it's going to work to start with, but actually in reality it really enables you to take out, because it goes through elements of the level, so it kind of ignores everything in its path. So you can see me here collecting, making sure I've got the gun that I want equipped. Some of the guns like the Rhino are just no use at all when you get to the later stages, because they're just not powerful enough, or you don't have enough bullets in order to actually take out the amount of enemies that are in the wave. The one thing this game does have as an advantage is that you can play couch co-op, so you can actually play with 2 players. I imagine that would make the gaming experience much more interesting and much more fun, as you get the element of teamwork with the element of also killing as well. So there would be kind of an element of working together, which would be nice. I guess that makes it a different dimension. I didn't manage to explore this kind of couch co-op mode, so it might be something that allows you to A, complete the game a little bit quicker, and B, have a little bit of fun with your friends. Not many games these days do kind of a couch co-op, which is good. So yeah, that's one advantage to this game. So you'll see when you reach the end of the round, you'll be given a rap sheet of what you've done. There are various trophies for getting so many kills with each gun, so it is important to keep following the stats in order to have a look at what guns you need to do more kills with, and then you will end up kind of, on some occasions, not doing very long plays just because you need to do certain kills with certain guns. So as I mentioned earlier, the Rhino is a gun with big bullets, but it doesn't really do that much damage, so you'll end up kind of dying quite frequently when you're using this gun just because it needs reloading so often, as the magazine isn't very big. But if you're looking for a game that is a little bit of fun to start with, I wouldn't recommend this for, say, a trophy hunter, because it is going to take you sort of 15 to 20 hours depending on if you use the workarounds that I've described kind of during this video, which is around the starting and reloading at the end of every game, and kind of hogging a wall in order to get the most you can. So again, this is one of the other levels which is easy to kind of rack up the kills by just sticking to this platform that's on the left. I wouldn't recommend any of the levels where you don't have this, just because the amount of enemies on screen just becomes too much too quickly. Make sure you're collecting as many of the power-ups as you can. The power-ups will also help you in reloading. So if you pick up a health pack, for example, it will reload your gun, which is a little bit random, but it's something to know. If you are near a power-up or a coin, it will reload, so you can leave it there until you're empty and then walk into it and it will do a kind of an auto reload for you. So that's another way to use the environment to your advantage in order for you to get further during a single playthrough of the game. The dynamite guys are also good, so try not to get them too close to you, as they will throw the dynamite in the air and that will often land on you, or hopefully it'll land on some of the enemies that you're trying to kill, and you will get those kills as well. Overall, if you want a little bit of arcade shooting fun, this is definitely a game that could take that fancy, but if you are looking for something to easy platinum without grind, then you definitely are not looking at this game going forwards. I will produce some other trophy videos on specific trophies if you are looking to platinum this game. Those will be on the channel shortly after I release this particular video, so please keep checking back for those videos and I'll try and upload them as quickly as possible. You could also stay tuned to our activities on social media, so we are on X and Facebook at HowToTrophies, so you could find us there and keep up to date with everything that we're doing and the next videos that we're going to be uploading. You can also obviously like, share and subscribe here on YouTube, so that would be much appreciated. If you could also drop us a comment in the comment section below on what your thoughts are on this game and whether you've had the kind of same experiences that I experienced while I was just starting to play this game and kind of giving my first impressions and thoughts. Obviously I've done some research into the later games, so kind of understanding how the game's going to play through, so I've tried to give as many of those kind of later game thoughts as well as my kind of first impressions of the gameplay and whether I think it's going to be something that has longevity or not, which obviously I don't believe it's going to keep you going for very long if you are somebody who gets particularly bored by repetitiveness, because this is quite a repetitive, even just having like the singular game mode. There isn't any other kind of variants of the game mode, which is a bit disappointing as well. You would have hoped to have something kind of a little bit different to mix it up a little bit. I don't know whether you could, if they're going to make like a sequel or anything, that you could do something a little bit different with it. But this is essentially the gameplay for the entire duration of the game. So you're going to have to get used to just killing people, killing these fools, these bandits, and try to get all those trophies. The trophies do come fairly quickly to start with, so most of the early trophies are probably gained like 10 to 15 trophies kind of within the first hour of playing the game, which they kept unlocking like fairly quickly, so that was quite an interesting experience. But then obviously it slows down and you're probably looking for 2 or 3 kind of long-term grinding trophies, depending on how you play the game, because there are trophies for gaining 1,000,000 points. So you can see the counter at the top screen. Currently have hit that 1,000,000 points. You will need to go kind of much further. I think my top score at the moment is kind of 2 million. So you will get used to the physics and you will get used to the game levels that have the best ability for you to reach those higher values of numbers, and that's important because it means that you're not having to restart the levels, and you just try and maintain that 30-point combo as well. That's the really important bit, because the higher, obviously the longer that combo stays on, the easier it will be to build up those points and that score. And that kind of brings us to the end of this video for now on my first thoughts on this game. Like I said, I will do some more videos on the channel, so hopefully you can stick around for those. But thank you for watching this video today. Please like, share and subscribe, and drop a comment in the comment section below. Thank you and take care.